Can you hear me?
Yeah, but very low. I'm not sure why. Let's try again because my volume is okay here.
Yeah, I think we can. Guys, can you hear us now? Yeah, I think they can hear us
Unless
now.
if my
They
things
can
are
hear
not,
us.
but
No, they can hear us.
I'm struggling to hear you actually. Are the settings on?
Yeah, can you hear me at all?
I can hear you, but I need to get a lot closer.
Okay, I'm not sure why.
And the volume level is on max now.
Okay, maybe let's continue. Let's see. We lost our
Yeah, I
audience.
think
Hopefully we can find them.
let me try this. Hope it won't be funny because now I'm struggling to hear. I'm gonna have to try this. Yo, some people are jinxing tonight. Whoever is jinxing tonight, please, please,
Eh,
please don't. Let's try this.
can you hear me better?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. Um, I hope our people can follow. You see, when they're following you, if you're subscribed, you get the links quickly.
Now the audio is gone.
Okay.
Let's try again.
Okay. Are you good?
I can hear you now.
All right. Perfect. Okay, let's carry on. I think people will join as they join. Can you hear me?
Hear you now.
Okay. Okay. Evening and welcome again for the second time. Yes, we are finding people. Sylvia, thanks. Freedom is here as well. Guys, send us messages so we can see you here. Let me make sure I can see all the messages so we can see that you're here. Okay, I think Rabena was just saying that last week we had Sam on, and the guys were saying, "I we are shy to speak, but we want a guy to come and tell our side of the story. Like, how do guys break up? What is the tactic? What goes on?" So you took the challenge on. So are you going to represent?
Definitely here for the guys. And I see the ladies have already started to jinxing. Our things are not working out, but yeah, we no, I'm here. Thanks for having
Uh-uh.
me tonight on a very interesting topic.
It's not the ladies. It's not the ladies. Please, they are not the ones
Oh,
jinxing this
I
thing.
thought you said the ladies were like saying we've got them. So the guys are the ones with a consent.
Yes, the guys are the ones with a concern who wanted to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
So they're to say they want a guy to come and tell a story about what happens during breakups. How
Mm.
do guys handle it? How do we go about it? Why is it so toxic sometimes? How can we just be a little more civilized?
And things I think most definitely the starting point should be if we have to look at this from a male perspective, I've noticed, or to a very large extent, the fact that men and women are not the same. It's a real fact. The way men
Mm,
handle things and the way ladies handle things are a lot of times completely different.
mm,
You find situations where men would look at a thing as a simple, but you find that women really take things to heart, and a lot of times you find that yes, sometimes men do get heartbroken, but hey, I think basadi ba robe ha easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This whole thing, I
Uh,
think it affects women more than it affects men. I don't know if it's the male ego thing or it's naturally the way we are wired. I'm not sure. But
how
my
many
take
times
on
have you
it,
broken up? How many times have you broken up? If
surely
you
don't
can
expect
count.
me to have the count. I can't even remember.
Okay,
But
let's
in
do
my
a
life, I've
range.
had
More
so.
than 50, less than 20, between 20 and 30. Choose.
let's
Because
say let's
I can't give you
let's
low
say the
numbers
minimal
like
less than
five. I can't give you like
let's
five.
say the
Let's
minimal less than 50 and less than 30. I don't want to go more than, otherwise I'd be selling myself out to the hotel. Things I have to come back and answer. No, but honestly, I think in that region of less than 30. And I'll
yeah.
be talking throughout my life. That includes breakups with partners, breaking up with friends. And of course, along the way, there's been some, family breakups where to a large extent, as family, we tend to come back and reconcile, unlike when it's partners or when it's friends.
Okay. So let's start with breakups with a partner. Which one was
Mm.
the most heartbreaking for you? We want the story.
It must be back to my tertiary life. Yeah, at
Yeah.
tertiary, I think I must have been in my second year or so. And I had this beautiful thing going on. The most beautiful thing I've ever had up until that time.
Mm,
So here we are, young as we are. I think I must have been 23 or 24. Yeah.
mm,
And now, as young men at tertiary, we tend to have this thing of, showing off, or I've got the gem, the best lady on campus. So unfortunately, it so happened that the gem in the campus had some new interest elsewhere. But I
mm.
was not aware because the very same guy that she went out with, we've been talking, and sometimes I would even brag about her and say, "Ish," only to find that now I'm actually exposing myself to being overtaken. So I lost her to this guy, and but lucky enough, I'm proud to say, with a broken heart, they ultimately got married as we speak. So it's over 30 years of, maybe I saved her for a man that was actually supposed to marry her.
Mara bawubethile kaSidina.
Eish, ke Stina stre. I say like Stina stre. I remember I even spent about a week not attending classes because now
Yeah, I was going
everybody
to
knew
ask.
me and her as this
Mm,
idealistic couple. Now
mm.
I'm no longer in the picture, and there's a new guy who is taking over, and somebody that I know.
Mara, you sold her.
Ah, que
You
Stina
sold
for
her.
real.
You sold her to him. You were talking,
Yeah,
and telling her, saying the best things about her. So it's your fault.
yeah, I get as guys we send to say, but wait, we are not nuggets or a para, get very cheapy, and can't the cheapy but we might get the lava to come and take over.
Mm. So now, okay, why was it the most hurtful? You didn't go to classes the whole because you said the
So
most
again, I
hurtful.
missed that part.
Why was it the most hurtful? You didn't go to class a whole week, and what else? Did you eat?
Well, eating I did, but I think it also left me with the ego thing, like I was saying. Now you walk around campus and you feel like everybody's watching you. Everybody behind you is talking about, yes, that guy. Yes, that guy who lost what he thought was best. And it affected me to a very large extent. I actually took a long time before I started dating again.
Mm,
I had this thing, what if now the same thing happens to me again? So
mm,
yeah, honestly, it had to it had to take a bit of time before I got back to the dating game.
Shemsor, Askis.
Yeah,
So tell me, how did she tell
but
you? How did you know? I think that's what I want. How did you know?
that's the whole thing that actually got me sick because she didn't like personally come and tell me, but she started acting off. Each time I go to her room to check on her, she'd say, I'm busy with some other things. Can we meet tomorrow? Or can we spend can we spend some time not seeing each other? There's something I need to get clear in
Mm,
my head. But I
mm,
wasn't thinking much like that. So already she was preparing me to say, you must now realize that there will be a distance creeping in between us. Maybe I did not look at the signs, but clearly the signs were there that the interest was now on this other guy, the new
But
kid
how
on
did
the
you
block.
eventually? How did you eventually know? Like when you realized, and it's this
No,
guy.
we were pretty young at that age, and a friend would come and say, Raymond, kan tu ena dinta, dinta nga. Can't the so and so is now with so and so, and I'm like, what? No, I'm
Mm.
telling you, and it's not a new thing. It's over a month now, and I almost fainted. And at this one, I now started connecting the dots. Oh, now I see the recent, the sudden behavior, the sudden attitude. She was actually not telling me directly. She was giving me the signs for me to conclude on. So yeah, and that also triggered something else of wanting to hit back on other guys. Remember, we were so
Oh.
young, so Lena, I got my coral bricks ready so that I can pounce on my victims.
Yeah, Sylvia is
So I
asking
had, yeah, one
Orwena.
or two victims that I actually did
Sylvia was
that,
asking
what was done to
Sylvia.
me. Mm.
Sylvia was asking the same questions. Orwena, how many did you hit? Gastin.
I, those that I know of, and when I say those that I know of, is that those that I knew who the partner was, because some we threw coral bricks along the way, not knowing that this person is also going through stuff with another guy. But I think
Mm,
those that I know would be less than five. Yeah, because
mm,
I think over time one starts to grow and realize that this is a dangerous game
mm,
because some people take things to heart. I actually
mm,
was warned by a friend to say, Imana, one day you're gonna get shot. And I took it very seriously because it was during that era, Yamaginta and all. And one of the guys that I actually hit with a coral brick was known to be
mm,
Majidaso Shanguve Bamaginta. So I started retreating.
mm.
And that's when we were starting to grow up and maturing, getting into real relationships. And I think that's probably a year before I actually met my the late mother to my son, my late wife. I think after getting into that relationship, it actually switched me into becoming responsible, committed, and I think also the kind of person she was. She made me realize that maybe being stable is where I need to go.
Okay, so now we know that. Okay, so you're telling us they dumped you, but
Mm-hmm.
generally, when guys need to dump somebody, you
Mm.
guys don't do it. Why? You're always like just play around, linger around, send signs and signals and doves, and then hoping the other person is going to be the one that initiates. Why are
Mm.
guys so scared to actually just communicate, Tore? It's over.
I think the thing with us guys, and I'm talking guys from as young as high school, guys have this thing of wanting to have ownership. Naturally, guys don't want to lose out. Even though I can see that, these things are not working on me, I'm working out, or I'm not that much interested like I used to be. But I would want to hold on so that I don't get out there to be, labeled as the guy who got dumped or the guy who let this a beautiful thing to another man. So we sort of, I think the element yabo stembu ita ona mo, or you, it's more of greed. It's you see it's not happening, but hey, to let go easily, it doesn't come. It doesn't come that easy. But one thing that I've picked up, most of breakups that guys come with, if I have to move on to another lady, it's usually when a guy is hurt. I think men are very weak when it comes to handling disappointments in relationships. Hence, we actually experience quite a high number of partners who get killed by their either husbands or boyfriends, because men tend to not accept when things get to a point where there should be a breakup. So those things actually contribute to a very large extent to issues of the killings of women because of the relationships being broken. So you also find that a man would rather stay in a relationship than let go, even if he realizes that this woman is actually interested in another man. It's, I don't know how, that's how weak we are. I call it
Mm,
weakness,
mm,
because women would come to you and say, "Look, baby, I think we need to talk." And
mm,
by we need to talk, already I'm getting a signal that
mm, mm,
things might not be the way I expect.
mm,
So men do not often say, "Come, let's talk."
mm.
Men are more on action, and men are going to kill me because I almost said it again. Men usually become very stupid, especially when it comes to them finding a new relationship, and
Mm,
they show. And I think a lot of guys have lost relationships from their partners because the partner could already pick up a sudden excitement, a sudden change in the behavior. Era doronke, man. Era
yeah.
doronke, when the relationship is new. Rajampis. Suddenly you want to go outside when you answer the phone. Suddenly you stay long on calls. You start dressing up
Mm,
differently, wearing muscle
mm,
vests, and the lady can actually pick it up. So yeah, Rona, a
mm,
lot of times we selling ourselves out. And
mm,
once the lady realizes that, they will give you time, but when they
mm,
drop the bomb, shame. It's never nice.
Yeah, La Jumpy is available, all the excitement, but that's the point. Why don't you just say,
Yeah, Majidara Jampies. Majidara Jampies. You find men as old as 40, 50 years of age suddenly wearing skinny jeans, uh, what's this cut? Biotech mohawks. Oh, one or this is a midlife crisis. And there the lady can pick up or otabatata.
but why
So
don't you
yeah,
just,
men, we don't
what is
normally
the
talk and
problem?
say we address
Yeah,
issues. In
yeah,
fact, we we often resort to threatening the poor lady to say, you're not going
mm,
anywhere. So that's,
mm.
like I said, it's a weakness. It's an element of weakness.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying hope the guys don't kill you. They can speak for themselves here. They are here somewhere. They can speak for themselves and say also, how do they see it? So I agree with you that the guys don't communicate when they want to break up.
Mm,
They act up and then they don't really say what is the problem. But at the same time, you're hurting someone else. And I don't know whether that registers because obviously, like you're saying, as ladies, we are going to see and we are going to
mm.
investigate. You know, ladies are good investigators. We are going to investigate and we are going to find your girl, address
Mm.
where she works, everything. And then you still
Eh,
sit there thinking when you are incognito or something like you are doing this thing nicely under wraps. We will know. But the point is, why don't you just say it?
it's something that we as men have. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is men tend to have this thing of not wanting to be confronted. The minute you confront us, we become very, overprotective, oversensitive, and you feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're caught on your moves, and it's pretty disappointing because now you
Mm,
don't know what else you knows. The minute you
Mm,
come with an answer, she says, no, forget it. That I know already. And the scary part is, I once picked it up on radio. Kebo Manyapelo said it on radio the other day to say, when a man is cheating and
mm.
he gets caught, it's likely that it was his first time. But when a lady gets caught, it's probably not the first time because women generally are smarter in these games. I don't know how true that is, but to a point, yeah, I believe women are very quiet. I think they're very calculative. Now, Rona, we just ravasa, we just
Yeah.
go all the way.
I, you guys, you disappoint us. So Freedom says we take breakups harder than women. We act more than having you act more than having a dialogue. But we know that that's why most relationships don't work out because of the communication that needs to happen
Mm,
in a relationship. And I think just this conversation just shows that even in the relationship, there is no communication. That's why even when it has to end, the communication is not that clear. So I think number one, guys, you need to start talking in your relationship when it's healthy and in the relationship when it's about to end. Because yeah, like Sam said it last week to say she explained how she and her friends were investigating. Ladies will
mm.
investigate, but guys, don't do it. Then what about the money issue? Because I see also when you have especially marriage, hey, you guys start hiding money when you like see that, hey, there's going to be a divorce here. Why don't you want to share?
Well, luckily, that's not the case in my marriage. I think I'm my wife is pretty lucky because I'm quite open with monies and stuff. But I know there's this thing of men, holding on and hiding, the monies they have. I think there's also an element of lack of trust. And when you're talking trust issues, you look at where this thing comes from. Uh, a man traditionally is, known to be the provider. So you don't want to expose everything that you want so that should you lose this relationship, you must still have something to go provide in a new one. So men would obviously want to say, no, this is how much I can go. But this thing, I think it also comes with a thinking that a man must provide. And we tend to look at ladies as people that, want to get into your pockets. I don't know. And it starts from a very young age. Women and money. Hish. I thought
I,
imali
I,
fast. Women
we are
and
not all
money.
gold diggers. We are not all gold diggers.
You get into a relationship with someone just because they're expecting to enrich their families. You find a young lady who's not so smart at school, and the parents would say, "Eish, maybe we can get a child," because already the mentality is they getting married. It means you go into a mine, there will be money there. But I tlhokomele, maybe we can like motho wa ditjhelete. So automatically it tells you that men will also be blocking off with a thinking that maybe she's just here for money. I think so.
Okay, Sabelo says men don't handle rejection very well. But I think my question is when you know as a guy you want out, you're not being rejected. You are the one that wants
Mm,
out. So Luyanda is saying, why would you communicate it if it's already going towards a breakup? But remember, Luyanda, as a lady, I don't know that you want out and you want to break up. You are just
mm,
now showing signs, getting a new relationship. Your exit is clear. And that's the question. You are the one that knows that you don't want to
mm.
be in the relationship. I understand if it's the lady that's saying they want out, then you're not ready. But if it's you who knows that I don't want to stay with this lady anymore, why don't you just say it? Why are you still going around and whatever? What is that? So I think Braben said it's the ego. You don't want to look like a failure. So you stick
Mm.
around. Is that true? Oh, Liana says, I've already broken up at this stage. Ah, you forgot to tell me, your partner, that we are breaking up.
Some relationships you can actually see that it's over, it's just persistence. And I think to also support you on that one, there's an element of disappointment. Usually in breakups, one party is not aware of the intentions of the other party. And maybe women are taking time, they don't want to disappoint you, they want to prepare you. But also on the side of men, men cannot handle disappointment as I don't know about women, but I want to assume women can handle it better. Uh, the figures actually indicate that there's a lot of men who actually get negatively affected by separations from as earliest young relationships, and it shows that maybe I should stop using the word weak before the men get. But there's this thing about men which women do not have, or this thing that women have and men do not. I once told somebody to say in relationships, the most common element that breaks people up, it's when somebody is caught cheating. And in many cases, when a man is found cheating, there's a high chance that the woman will forgive. On the side of men, if a man finds a woman cheating, there's a high chance, high possibility that he will not take her back again. Because we sort of attach, well, with this bias, or she's not as clean as I thought she was. So, and I don't know why men we have such a thing. We don't forgive that easily. We Ons is swak, man. Ons is swak. I believe women have bigger hearts than men. I think honestly believe that they've got bigger forgiving hearts than us.
Yes, girls. So, okay, so now, what was I going to say? So I hear you. What you're saying is the disappointment side is that the men don't like to receive disappointment, but don't like to disappoint someone else. So
Exactly.
you don't want to hurt me by telling me that it's enough. So
Yeah,
you
some
kind of
guys
like
go
you kind of
on.
give you send me signs until I can get it, and then I can initiate the breakup.
Mm,
Then you are ready. Are you gonna be ready? But when I initiate, after you've given me signs, then I initiate and
mm-hmm,
say, okay, fine, I can see that you're no longer here. Your mind, your body is elsewhere. So let's call it
mm.
quits. You are still going to complain and you're still going to fight me. Why?
That's how confusing men are. Because in as much as
I
what you've outlined happens, the minute they realize that you're the one that wants to damn them, they don't want to accept. Uh, Here's a situation of a guy who's in a relationship with somebody that they clearly do not have interest anymore with. But there is this thing about her, in the township, they talk about her. She's got something outstanding. Maybe she's a business owner or something. You don't love this person, but you still want to be in the relationship just for the sake of something which is not related to the relationship. And yeah, it's a fact. And when she has to do that to you, men cannot handle disappointments at all.
ladies help me. I mean, I don't know what to say anymore. I think it's Ben, you've you finished it all. Men, you are all swag.
No, I'm not. I need to clarify this. Men are going to kill me. I want to believe there are men who can handle all these things that I've said. Many men cannot handle. Yes, some cannot, but a large number of men really can't handle such disappointments.
So
Many
it's mainly
men
it's
cannot.
just about the ego and it's about your image, really. So it's about just your ego
Yeah, I
amongst
think I
other
think it's all
guys.
about that. Yeah, your outlook in society. People tend to be worried about what people will say, and this is also one of the things where in a lot of divorce cases, you find that these people have long divorced, but they're still together for the sake of what will the society say out there. Maybe they're in that relationship for the family's sake, they're in the relationship for the kids' sake, but clearly these people are no longer an item. Even if they
Mm,
started now sleeping in separate rooms, and
mm.
but they don't want to portray it out there to the people. So yeah, to a very large extent, we're living to please the society.
Okay, so are you guys gonna have a meeting about this and talk about how unfair this thing is?
I've unfortunately I've never been part of the men's conference, if there is any men's conference. But I wish I wish this could be the items to be discussed in men's conferences to say, guys, let us look into ourselves and ask ourselves questions. Why are we not able to handle things, the same way as women? But like I said earlier, it's men and women are different species altogether. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Whether we like it or not, I think also even nature dictates that this is the way men will handle things, and this is the way women will handle things. But I'm also proud to say my observation is that society has now started to transform.
Okay.
I see men who are more civilized in this nowadays. I see men who are completely different from men the era of my father and his peers. I grew up in a township where it was normal. Every Sunday you'd see a man running on the street chasing behind his wife with an object or a weapon. And that was very normal. And when I also visit other friends of mine in other areas, they tell me it was exactly what was happening in their townships. But now I don't see that happening anymore. I think our generation is much more civilized, and hopefully this will be one of the things that we're going to be talking about to say, now that we're not chasing women with knives on the streets anymore, let's talk about breaking up. How are you going to break up with your woman? Are you going to tell them or not? Maybe we can discuss that, but I think we're going to take thousands, not even thousands, millions of years to change from being the way men are to become, what the modern society expects.
No, I just think the tactics have changed. I think maybe the tactics, I don't think the behavior has changed. It's just how. Obviously, now you
Mm,
can't be chasing because there's gender based violence, there's all of that. But I think
mm,
guys
mm.
now have different tactics to doing the same thing. Like now you use
Okay. What
social
are the tactics?
media. I don't
What are
know.
the
They
new
must tell,
tactics? Social
they must
media.
tell us. Yeah, social media where you are stalking the girl, you're looking at pictures, you are trying to ch- check the phones and things like that. And like I was saying, moving items, money, cheating, doing all of those things. I think the
Mm,
tactics now are a little bit different because people want to protect. Maybe in the olden days, you didn't have, I don't know, didn't have much or what, I don't know. But
mm.
I kind of think that thing still exists somehow. So I don't know. But then my thing, or as ladies, we would like to know, even if you can write it on WhatsApp, the same way you were shelling, the same way you were shelling, I love you, what, sending songs on WhatsApp. Just do the same. Just say, I don't think, whatever. Find a song or a breakup song. Asha has a lot of breakup songs. Just send, whenever you
So
know
maybe
the
the
songs.
tactics should be sending breakup songs. Maybe find a person that you remember at high school. We used to send a friend to say, "I need to speak to your friend." Maybe get that friends to say, "Tell her now I'm no longer interested. It's over now."
Anything,
It can be.
anything,
It can
anything.
be.
Send something. Mina, for me, it's like just send me a sign. The same way you were
Mm,
sending me signs when you wanted me, and you were telling my friends, and you were sending chocolates. Is there no PS that says, well, let's break up? Maybe you buy a PS chocolate, cancel the I love you, right? Let's break up. All we need is for you to communicate where you are, what you want. Don't drag me through the pain and
mm.
frustration and all of that forward.
I think at that stage, there's also an element of maybe I'm not sure if I want to break up. So I'll be taking time, making sure that if I move on, I know where I'm going, or if I lose this one and I realize that no, I calculated my things wrongly. I think that's why men would then be taking a long time, or they don't announce it at all. And once they feel comfortable, maybe in this new relationship, or they feel even if there's no other relationship taking over, men will probably take long because they're not sure if they want out or not. And the
No,
minute you don't want out or not, somebody's already finding the signals that you want out, and they prepare themselves for you to be disappointed.
no. I think, guys, you want your bread buttered both sides. You want the current relationship because everybody knows you're in it. You want the new one because it's exciting. You are right. And you haven't made up your mind whether you are staying or going. Because if this one dumps you, you want the confirmation that where you're going, it's also stable.
Mm.
Girls, help me. I'm trying. I'm trying. We still need communication that you don't
And
want.
and I
How can
think
we get there?
I think one other angle that brings this kind of tension would be where we still have men who we call them men who don't want to grow, men who still want to pride themselves with having multiple relationships. And in that case, you find that the person doesn't mind losing this relationship because they know they've got one, two, three, four, five, six, or whatever number of ladies standing by. But I'm telling you, even if they've got five others on the side, if number one decides, or I'm quitting, it's a problem. It's a problem. So I don't know if it's being selfish, if it's being greedy, but it's a fact. It's happening out there. Somebody was actually put it on social media to say, Aona bareng aona banna ba bolelang ho tswana kore a man would actually be more jealous of a side chick than on his wife. If they realize
Yeah.
that the side chick has got somebody that is stable with, it becomes a problem. They can even shoot. So yeah, there's a lot of controversy on this one. Quite a lot of controversy.
Okay. Me, guys, girls, do you have any defense, guys? Girls, what do we want to say? I think I've made up my point. We just want to improve the communication. Tell us when we tell you, we can see you don't want to be here. So we'll make it easy for you. I'll say I'm breaking up. Accept it. Don't come and beat me up and say why you can't leave
Mm,
me. What? That just because I'm breaking up with you. But you send me all the signs that you have another baby somewhere. I mean, we can see, you
mm,
can see you have children outside, there's stories, there's all of this thing that is embarrassing, or to me it's not sitting well, and I can see, and I'm
mm.
like, okay, fine, I'll do you a favor. I'll be the one that pulls out to save you, so you can tell your friends that I dumped you, whatever, so that it's not about you. Then don't still fight me. Let me go, like, go cry somewhere and let me go. Oh, I want to go, let me go.
I think we have men that are civilized out there. I think we're not totally saying all men are the same. There are men who are in relationships, and I'm counting myself there because I once had a relationship. I think I was in my, must have been 20 years or so back. No, it's over 20 years now. The way we had a separation with my partner at that stage, it was clearly circumstantial. And we both agreed that had it not been because of these circumstances, we'd still be together. But because of one, two, three, four, five, we just cannot continue. And I wasn't troubled by that, and she didn't have any trouble at all. So I realized that we can actually resolve things in a peaceful way, in a way of communicating. But unfortunately, the dominant section is this one where people don't want to talk, people resort to violence, and people just go silent. People just ghost you and then realize that it's over. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not many of us out there who are able to say, "Come, let's talk things out." Because I want to go back to my point to say there is always an element of loss when people have to break up, and nobody wants to lose naturally. People want to say, I will fight back for what I want, I will fight back for what I love. And sometimes this fighting back actually help to a point where you find that After being scared, realizing that she almost left you, you start getting your ducks in the row. Now you start, behaving in a proper way. I think it helps to also have fights in relationships. Fights do shape people, I'm telling you.
So
They
you
shape
remind me
people.
You remind me of my other relationship. Okay, before I tell that story, Luanda say part of the problem is a syndrome of nice guy. Okay, but being nice guy could also mean talking and just releasing the person nicely. It
Mm,
doesn't mean that you must hold on to me because you don't, or you must not talk because you want to be a nice guy. If we can just talk and release me nicely and we release each other, I'm not saying there's no pain, but at least there's communication. So you're saying what? Very difficult state where men want to be nice guys. It affects men even at workplaces. They don't push back. They push hard, open up, and be honest because it will hurt or disappoint others. We remain nice guys.
mm.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, people have views as well. I mean, it's normal to have fights. I want to believe the fact that we have the word fight in a dictionary, it means fighting must be there. But fighting should not always be the way to resolve problems. Maybe fighting should be there, just to conscientize one to say, if you're not acting up, you're gonna lose me. And of course, minimal conflicts are building. That's what I've always told my wife to say. Even though it's my way of getting away with things, when we have a bit of a difference in the house, and she say, "Yeah, now I'm sick and tired of you doing one, two, three," and I would say, "But it's a healthy conflict. Conflicts must be there." So then you apologize and then you move on.
So I wanted to say, I the one relationship I had. So me, I don't fight. I just communicate all the time. I communicate, communicate, communicate. And because I
Mm,
don't like create like what you are saying, that I'm gonna leave, otherwise, that ultimatum. I don't get there quickly. I just communicate and over communicate. And if you don't get, so what I did the same. Communicated all the time. And then the day I was
mm.
like, okay, I'm done talking, I'm leaving. And he was like, are you for real? And then he came back, says, no, but you didn't give me a warning. I'm like, what warning? He says, no. How come when
But
you
the
say it
warnings have been
once?
coming all the way throughout.
Yeah, but he says, but now you're like giving me the ultimatum, you're gone once. Why am I not getting like a warning? Like say I'm out and then come back and then next time you're out. I'm like, no, I'm out. I'm out now and I'm out for good. Like I'm out. There's no warning. What
And
warning?
and the first out might be the only out. We might not come back again if that's what he expects.
That's what I was
So he
doing.
must have picked up the signs all along as they came.
Yes, that's what I was doing. I was saying, okay, I'm out and I'm out for good. But came back after a few weeks and says, no, I feel you didn't give me a proper chance. You were supposed to give me the ultimatum first and then scare me with the I'm out. And then so that I can get myself together and then you can go
Mhm.
out next. I was like, I don't play those games. I'm saying I'm out now and I'm out now and I'm gone.
And
So
again, in the way of handling things, there's actually people that have worked nicely with, the effect of you say it's over, I'm going, but they know you'll still come back.
yeah.
And they go and they come back. And I think the way they handle things like that is how it works well with them, to a point where somebody would be saying to you, now I'm going, I'm packing my things, I'm leaving. And you'd say, now she'll come back. And they
Uh-uh.
might not come back forever. Then you start having disappointments.
Yeah. No, that's
So
exactly
it
what
depends
happened
on
with
what
me.
works for, what works for you. Things don't always work for all of us the same way.
Yeah, for with me, there's no warning. The communication and
Mm,
the talking and the crying and
mm,
the being disappointed and the withdrawing, all the other dramatic things I will do. That's a sign
mm,
enough for you. The day I'm saying now I'm done performing, I'm out. I'm not saying I'm coming back. I'm gone,
mm.
and that's it.
Ha o re tsa gore ke batlo go ikutlwelela ke tla boa.
Hi, hi. I'm gone, gone,
Ke
gone.
ikutlweletse well enough in your presence, so I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when you were not focusing, when I was telling you I'm going, that was when I was thinking, or okay. This one's not listening. So I'm not going to be out and come back. And I think guys think that
Mm,
we're going to come back
mm,
and then maybe come back. So some ladies are not like that. It's a once off. There's no warning. There's no pre warning. There's no pre fight. There's no pre ultimatum.
mm.
It's one thing.
I remember last week when Sam said she had like 4 or 5 comebacks in one, so 5 breakups in one relationship, in one relationship, and of course, a lot of people go through that. But now maybe let's also look at what influences such, particularly what influences breakups. Uh, and the reason I'm bringing this up, I remember Sam's words talking about the board of directors.
The friends, the friends.
I believe relationships also get influenced, by people from outside. It can be family, it can be friends, it can even be people in your neighborhood. And it's one such weaknesses that I've seen mostly on the side of ladies. Maybe the ladies that I've seen, there's been things that were spoken which were not correct, but ended up breaking people apart because people would be listening to friends, people would be picking up, wrong trends, and people lost good relationships because somebody said things, negative things about them in a relationship, which is actually was not the case. So yeah,
Mm,
such things do happen where you find yourself, being placed in a position where you don't really know about that, only to find that no, your partner knows that you are with so and so in this place, in this date, and all that. Which most of the time you find that it's totally not true. So yeah, influences are playing a very big role in relationships.
definitely.
That is why
So
some
have you
people
ever
would say, "Nah, I'm not going to listen to anyone." If they say Ben is involved with Lindywe, then my wife must be the one who says, "No, I've seen them together." Then I can say, "Yes, they are." But if somebody has to come in and tell her Ben is in a relationship, most of the time those kind of informations, they come to be dishonest.
correct, correct.
Mm.
So now let's talk friends. Have you broken up with friends? How do guys break up? Do you break up as friends? We girls, we break up all the time, Mos.
Eish, Majida, what is Majida? We're not consistent. I think one, James, as we grow, we sort of pick up new friends, especially when it comes to work friends. You get new friends where you work, and the kind of your lifestyle will change, and ultimately, there'll be that element of, sort of neglecting your previous friends from, when you came from. But to some extent, it's good riddance to lose the relationship with friends because as you grow, you realize that some of these relationships amongst men, they're also toxic. There's
Okay.
this belief, the traditional stereotype that yeah, gossiping is it's ladies' game. There are men who gossip out there. There are men
No.
who would bring you down. There are men who would actually not want to see you succeed. So with men, we usually pick it up and Rashapanaka cold shoulder. I will let the
Oh,
block the numbers are we don't talk anymore
oh, oh.
and we distance yourself. You reject invitations. Remember, we've got something happening next week. Are you coming? Right? I'm going to church. Suddenly you want to go to church to avoid this friend. Yeah, but it's to a
Also,
very
you
large
go.
extent it becomes painful when it's influenced by people from outside. And I'm saying this because I've been in a number of, not a number of, about 2 or 3 breakup with friends, 2 of which we've made up, but one is totally irreparable uh, because we're dealing with issues from 2 angles. I've got my side of the story, he's got his side of the story. We haven't found each other to say this is the only story that exists. And because of the male ego again, I'm not going to compromise my story to allow him to say, all right, you are the winner now. because I want to believe that he also wants to hold on to his point of view.
Mm.
And it has come to a point where I feel I'm not going to compromise my story for the sake of, securing this friendship. I had a nickname when I was still at varsity. I used to call myself Million Friends because I believe I've got so many friends. So I tend to say losing one friend is nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean. It
Oh,
can go. Yeah, but men can actually get very angry. But my heart is still with him. And I'm telling you, this is about a week ago that I'm talking now.
ah, the
It's
reason
very,
I'm
very
asking
fresh.
The reason why
Say
I'm
again?
asking, the reason why I'm asking is that we've already established that guys don't communicate. You don't communicate to the ladies. And that's why I wanted to understand, do you at least talk to each other when you want to break up? So what you're saying is you just ghost each other and just ignore each other and then hoping a friend is gonna tell him that that guy is no longer happy with you, but you don't actually
Mm.
confront each other. You don't actually sit and talk about what's your story, what's my story. It doesn't happen.
But I actually do. I
Okay.
communicate a lot. In fact, I actually still have the text. I don't know how many WhatsApps I sent him, just to ask a question or why this sudden silence? Why this sudden distance? Is it something that I did or is it something that I need to know about? And he didn't respond. I gave him a number of phone calls. On the first occasion, he didn't pick up. On the second occasion, he didn't pick up. On the third occasion, he answered. He said, "I'm still busy. I'll get back to you." And he hasn't come back to you. Come back to me ever since. Then I realized that maybe there is something that is existing. Up until one day, he decided to come to my place, and he said, "Can we take a round in my car?" So we drove around the neighborhood and we went that other side of the mosque. And that's when he laid out his reasons to say, and it's now over a year, this is what happened, and this is what I've been told, and this is what I believe. And I was like, thank you. Now I know what's bugging you. Can you listen to my side of the story? This is what happened, and this is what did not happen. So, are you able to put the two together? But he was like, I believe that my version is correct. I'm not compromising. So that's when I said to him, fine, if that is the case, let it rest. Then I'm not even going to compromise my story too because I believe I am correct. And if he believes he's correct, then there's no way we're going to find each other out. But at least we took it, sorry, we took it to a point where we came together and we discussed the matter out. Though we
Mm.
decided on a final breakup, at least we gave it a discussion.
Yeah. Okay. That's better. That's better.
But some guys don't do that. Some
I
guys they
know.
just shrug you off and without even establishing, the real facts. That's how
No,
unfortunate it is.
no. That's for it. And how long was this relationship?
We've been friends from our first year. No, no. When I was in my second year, he was in his first year. So we're
That's
talking, in
long.
fact, now that you're talking, now that you're asking, this is our 30th anniversary. We were supposed to be celebrating our 30 years of friendship,
So
broken
after
in
30
one
years,
day. 30
after
years
30
broken in
years,
one day.
no, not even a grace of thinking that you may be right or something may have gone wrong
Yeah, and I think
somewhere.
that's where we both stuck to say, uh, so we cannot both be right. In a
Mm.
situation, somebody would be wrong. I could be wrong, he could be wrong, but I believe my facts are right, and he believes his facts are right. So if we cannot find each other to say, I'm the wrong one here, we're not gonna move. So we let the 30-year thing get thrown away in one day. I mean, to an extent where we become more like family. We become more like my kids are his kids are mine, and I'm just worried about what's going to happen in future. Maybe he
So
will find himself, we'll come back together. and reconcile. But I'm not changing
When,
my position.
why are you saying him? You? Are you gonna find
No,
yourself?
no, I've actually done my homework. I've actually
Okay.
I brought all the receipts, I brought all the records to say, here's the true story. What do you have? And then he's talking from a hearsay, and I'm like, we can't do that. If you're talking from what people told you, and I'm giving you the facts on the table, it's not gonna work. So let's build your own case, let's put things together, and then we can come up to a point of saying, okay, you are right, I am wrong, or vice versa. But at this stage, I'm going next. I can change. I've got my facts. Maybe it's the male ego as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know
Mm.
I wasn't aware that you guys know how to block, but you just said you block each other, so it's part of the
No,
ghosting. There's no
Majidara block.
communication.
Ara blocker.
La
Ish.
blocker.
And sometimes it becomes unfair. You know, another reason that I don't know, maybe women have that as well. Majitawana, this thing when let's say on our weekend drinking sprees. There's this guy who's always coming with nothing and he wants to hang around. And Majida decided to with Nagamo sideline. And the other guy would say, let Nagamo sideline. So you find that guys decide to go quiet. They don't tell you, but they give you excuses. And if you're smart enough, you're going to pick up the signs very early. And if you keep on showing up and they don't like you, now they start blocking. Aro blogger. But for Ituluko guy, and the only question he asked, where are we going tonight? But he's not contributing. So yeah, such petty things. And it also depends on the kind of relationship. If it's social friendship, we'll deal with issues like that. But there are certain friendships which I believe, are for life. I've got friends where I grew up. Some of them we went to school together, and unfortunately, some were not as fortunate as others in life. I've got a friend of mine. Every time when I go home, Kokasi, I know I'm going to find him Koshopo, and I make sure that I carry at least 50 rands for him, because I know he needs the money, and I know he Zolonyan and all that. So, but he's still my friend. Sometimes I just go out and I decide today I want to go Kokas. I want to spend time with this person. I remember the other day my daughter was like surprised or Papa, are you saying this person is your friend? Yeah, this is my best friend from primary school actually. Are you? Papa, oh, what? And I was like, this is a friend of mine, much more of a friend than these ones who are coming now. That one is sort of,
Mm,
having a stable
yeah,
life. But those are
yeah.
actually true friends. Unfortunately, the lifestyle doesn't allow us to spend a lot of time together. Most
Together.
of the time,
Mm,
I'm at work. I don't get to see him
mm,
very often. But
mm.
sometimes I go down, we sit under the trees and we, reminisce on old stories, and it becomes nice. It gives one such a warm feeling to say,
Mm,
I still have my friend of 52 years,
mm.
still alive because we've lost a lot of friends along the way.
So Sam is asking, why do men bottle up without addressing the issue right from the start?
Say, I miss that.
Sam is here, by the way. She's listening. So she's
Okay,
asking, why do
she's
you guys,
asking.
why do you bottle up without addressing the issue up front?
Is she referring to bottling issues with friends having to break up, or generally whether it's friendship or relationships?
I guess it's everything. Any relationship.
I think I don't want to say those words again, but men are weak, man. Men can't handle issues. Men can't sit down and say, very few men do that. But we sort of want to see where this thing is going, or sometimes we just hope it's gonna die off without you getting involved, where you're actually going to secure and protect your ego. Especially when you know you're on the wrong side. You actually hope it's not happening. It's not going to come to a point where you get confronted. Yeah, it's one element, but not all men do that, Sam. There are men who actually speak out, and I believe I'm one of those. I raise issues. Maybe 1% of the things, 1% of the things I bottle up, but a lot of times I'm very, very much vocal. And I think that
So,
what helps in my marriage to say we get to resolve a lot of things by talking.
so
And
because
I'm I'm opening up a can of worms. I know she's watching and she's gonna come on me now.
I don't worry, you are protected, comrade.
Eish, wena.
So now as women, we are the ones mostly as mothers. We raise boy children. What can we
Mm.
do differently, maybe, that we can raise people who are able to talk? Is there something we can do, or is it something that just boys pick up from the society as they grow up? Um, what must we give them a different like milk? So what do we do?
No, I don't think breastfeeding will make any difference. I don't think any anything will change. I think it's more of a natural thing. And we are wired like that. And of course, some of the trends we picked up in the society, we some of us we learned from our fathers, some of us we've seen it happen in the society. But it's an inborn thing as well that men tend to bottle up. Men tend to not want, to be, they don't want their ego to be challenged. Men don't want to be made to feel like, when a woman calls you to sit you down, it's a challenge for a man. You
Mm.
rather be the one to say, Musadi Tarabole, come sit here. But the minute she says Tarabole, you're already worried to say, what is she going to come up with? Uh, so, no, I don't think there's anything that we can do to completely change young boys to become, communicators, especially on issues like breaking up. But I want to believe, like I said earlier, society is transforming, and hopefully they will pick up better examples, from their uncles, from their fathers, and
Mm.
influential male people in their lives. Yeah, but I doubt it's gonna take another millennium, I suppose.
Well, yeah, we
Not
need they
anytime
you're right.
soon.
You're right. They need role models, people who will encourage them to
Yeah,
talk. Yeah. Yo, can you
yeah,
believe we've been
because
on for over an hour already?
yeah, no, we've gone overboard. But I guess it's quite interesting. These are issues that we need to talk about a lot more often. And relationships are things that actually balance our lives. So I'm glad we spoke about breakups. Maybe in future we'll talk about how not to break up, or how to avoid breakups and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm glad we spoke, and thanks for reconnecting.
Yeah.
People don't know that the last time we spoke like this, face to face, not through the social media, but in person, it's over 10 years now. I was checking yesterday
Yeah.
that it's actually exactly 2014. It's 10 years plus. But
Yeah, it's been a
thank you
while.
so much for catching up.
Yes, thank you, Prabin. Are there any I don't see, I was trying to get through the questions, but yeah, I think we've gone through them. But yeah, I mean, thanks. I think we have a whole lot more insight and we can also handle it much better, or we can at least understand the other side. I think women, like
Mm,
you said, we calculate, so we already understand.
mm,
So we must maybe also create that platform to be able to receive such news. It mustn't
exactly.
always, yeah, it mustn't be that the guys get to talk because I'm gonna overreact and whatever. So we can also try and create
Precisely.
a safe space for that type of information to come through. But it doesn't happen at the breakup point. It happens
Mm-mm,
throughout the
at all.
relationship way. Yeah, where you create a safe space so that even at the end, that space is still there, you see. But thank you so much for
I think
representing the
that should be
guys.
the case. Hopefully, things will change. And my humble apologies to all the men out there for being honest on the swag.
Ah,
We need to get
ah,
to the way women are doing things and maybe learn from women. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, thanks, Papa.
Thanks
And
so
so
much,
does you.
Lins. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Okay, good night. Say hi to my boys there.
I will. I will. Thank you.
Uh, cheers.